Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world, it's the Joe Cortez Show.
Hello and welcome to the Joe Cortez Show here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment capital of the world. Today we have special guests, and we're along with my co-host Dylan May, who's going to be talking a little bit about my good friend here. I call him an undisputed amateur champion because his name is Jason Vincent Vegas. And I tell you, Jason, you are an unbelievable individual. You kind of inspired me in so many ways, not only because as a person, as a dad, as well, we had your beautiful daughter at the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame the other day. And Dylan said, Joe, I want to adopt that little girl.
Yeah.
I had such a good time with her.
You can babysit anytime you want.
But you know, what you do in boxing as an amateur official, at your age, at your young age of 45 now, but tell us a little bit about your history. Now, you became a boxer, and you're actually right now USA boxing official.
Yes, sir. Well, you know, about the age of 30 years old, I got into mixed martial arts. I got sick of lifting weights and going to the gym and doing that monotonous routine. So I got myself into a kickboxing gym and a jiu-jitsu gym and a judo gym, and it kind of progressed from there. And long story short, I found my first boxing coach, Coach Jose Gonzalez, about 7, 8 years ago, and he got me to fall in love with the sport of boxing. And from there, I became a USA boxing coach, and then I went ahead and became a USA boxing official. And then from there, I took my first amateur fight last year, my first Masters amateur fight at the Westgate Hotel here, and I was lucky enough to come away with a unanimous decision. And,
Win. Okay, so let me get that right. I want our viewers out there to understand this gentleman had his first amateur fight last year.
44 years old.
44 years.
Getting ready to turn 45.
I don't say old, I say 44 years young.
Yeah.
It's inspirational, though, for sure.
And here's a picture of you with your championship belt that we have here on the desk as well.
You can see the exhausted look on my face. There's me refereeing. That was at the Fan Box Expo at the Convention Center a few months ago. Had a great time there. And here's some of the masters that we had a open sparring weekend here a few months ago, and we had some masters come down from all over the country.
Okay, when you say masters, we're talking about seniors over the age of 35, who up until the age of what, 70?
We got masters that are in their mid-70s and maybe even a little bit older than that, still competing, believe it or not.
Well, maybe I may think about making a comeback.
Well, yeah, you know, Joe, you can still get in there. We'll find you a match. We'll get you matched up, and we'll get you in there.
Maybe I can shadow box. I'd be okay with shadow boxing.
Well, I saw you hit that speed bag the other day at the Nevada Hall of Fame. You still got some skills, so I don't think I'd want to get hit with your right hand there.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I see a female there. So tell me.
Is that a female or is that a male?
We got a female right there. So, yeah, so like you said, Joe, master boxers, anybody from the age of 35 years and older.
Right.
And that's male or female. So we do have a lot of female fighters here. We have a lot of female fighters all over the nation here that compete in women master amateur boxing.
Where can these individuals go and train? What's the location?
Well, you know, what you do really to get started, you can go, like here locally in town, we probably have a dozen USA Boxing affiliated club gyms here in town. You can find one of those. You can Google it, you know, one close in your area. And from there, you get with a certified USA Boxing coach. And you train, you know, you get in there and you train for whatever reason you want to train for, to get rid of anxiety, stress, get in shape, you bring the kids down, get them off the video games, whatever your reason or rhyme is to get into the gym. It's a wonderful thing. You'll make a lot of friends, you'll get in shape, you'll feel good, and then if you continue training and you actually start wanting to compete or you get the skill level to compete, then you can go ahead and apply for your yellow book that I have right here, your USA Boxing Amateur Masters Passbook here. Yeah. And you can go ahead and start, right here, and then you can go ahead and start having your coach send lists out to the local upcoming USA Boxing events and see if we can get you matched up on the shows.
Yeah, that's great, and I'm glad that you have this these Masters Boxing Division here at USA, and these here programs that you're involved with really have a lot to offer. I mean, not only is that good to keep yourself physically fit. But I mean, there's also, from what I understand, there's a program out there for individuals that suffer from Parkinson's disease.
I'm glad. I was thinking about the last night. I was hoping you mentioned that. Yeah.
Okay, and they seem to work out, and it cuts down on their medication because they're not trembling as much as they normally do. And boxing, I saw this in New York a number of years back, and I spoke to individuals here in Vegas. I believe Richard Steele is doing at this club now.
Yes, he is.
And I do some advising or consulting work with the Cleveland Clinic with Charlie Burnick, who does the studies for fighters, athletes with concussions and whatnot. We were talking about different things, different ideas, and I had Leon Spinks coming over to my house on a regular basis. Okay. Leon Spinks, former heavyweight champion of the world who beat Muhammad Ali. And he suffers from a little bit of dementia and whatnot, but I had him in my gym, in my house, in my ring, working out with the pads. And Charlie Burnick, Dr. Charlie Burnick called me one day and said, Joe, what is it that you're doing with Leon? Because he seems to be improving a lot more. I want to see what is you're doing with him. So I explained to him. He came to my house, Charlie Burnick, and I put on the gloves on him, and I put the pads. And this is what I do with Leon Spinks. He said, Joe, man, I think we're onto something here because it's a great idea that what you're doing there. I definitely see a big change in Leon Spinks. And his wife tells me, Joe, Brenda, she said, Joe, you know, he has really changed. Even his sister-in-law, Brenda's sister, came up from Nebraska. She said, Joe, I've seen like a 80% change in Leon Spinks since he's been training with you. And this is something that I like doing. I think that you've seen it out there. It's like Vincent is talking about coming out and working out in the gym, whether it's to let out your frustration or just to stay in shape and to keep your sugar down, your numbers down. I mean, anything with exercise definitely helps a lot, and I should do it a lot more myself. I mean, I know that when you reach a certain age, to keep yourself young and feeling good about yourself is by working out. And boxing is definitely one of the best training techniques out there.
Martial arts and combative sports, and definitely boxing, is a huge outlet, especially for me growing up as a kid in a middle-class area here in town. Being a smaller guy, kind of getting bullied and picked on and all that. So for self-esteem, for getting a skill level, for a sense of community, some camaraderie, teammates, making friends. And, you know, you never want to use it, but if, you know, heavens forbid, you have to, you know, use a skill level to defend yourself or a family member, you have that there too. So with that comes some confidence. But back to the Parkinson's, I'm glad you brought up, it's a special thing. My mother suffers from Parkinson's, and she's in her mid to late 60s, and I do see Richard Steele. I saw his program there. I'm very proud of him for doing that. We need to get other coaches, and I'm sure there is. I'm sorry if I miss any coaches that are doing it. I know Steve Bowe at Bowe's Boxing. I've witnessed it. That was my head coach when I won my belt here, and he had a gentleman or two with dementia and Parkinson's there. So I'm real proud of you too, Coach Steve Bowe. But yeah, that's a huge thing, and like you said, I mean, boxing can take you from A to Z. For whatever reason, you get into the gym, train, have a good time, and make some friends and meet some people. And real quick, it's kind of a recruiting pitch too. We can always use good moms and dads to become team moms and team dad coaches, but really USA Boxing officials right here with the Blue Book. We need good people with good ideas that are family orientated to come in and help out and lead the amateur community here into the future.
I wanted to just add, because you were talking about like kids being bullied, when you do the amateurs, then do you have the amateur fighter then sponsors a child? Is that how that works, or that can work?
That can work, and that was something Coach Manny Fernandez did in Los Angeles, and something he wants to implement here in Vegas. And there is some nonprofit like Fernando Vargas Foundation and Coach Jose Benales at Centering. They do have mentorship and stuff like that. But and Coach Manny can come on the show and speak on that in the future. But he did take some of his masters boxers at his gym, and they would sponsor an amateur, you know, a young person amateur boxer, and you know, whatever that was, you know, buying them lunch, mentorship, talking to them, help them getting funds for an event or equipment or what have you.
So
you
being
know,
a role model.
Yeah,
for
being
them.
a role model and helping out when, you know, where they could.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So.
That's excellent.
Yeah, I think that what you're talking about here to our viewers is something very special. I mean, this is worldwide. It doesn't have to. We're here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the boxing capital of the world, and of course, Jason has a great program here with the kids. But this goes worldwide. I mean, what we're talking about here, you can spread all over the world, different parts of here in the United States. We definitely have a lot of amateur gyms, but they also need a lot of help. And how do you see the future of amateur boxing here in the United States, being that you're involved now directly yourself?
I think the state of the union of amateur boxing here in the United States is awesome. It's phenomenal. We can always get better. You know, like I said before, we need good people to come in with good, innovative ideas, and we need all sorts of people to come in, but obviously people that have any kind of computer skills or grant writing skills or PR, public relations skills. But amateur boxing in the United States is just fine. We can always get better. We can always get a little more organized. We can always add more infrastructure. We always can add more sponsors. We always can add more training. Training's huge for me. I'm an ex-Navy veteran, so I'm really into the training, learning your job and learning the next guy's job. And I'm a union member. I bartend at Caesar's Palace for 20 years, so I'm very, you know, up on the training and the infrastructure and the organization. But yes, it's fine, but we can always get better.
Exactly, and I truly believe that no matter what we do in life, there's always room for improvement. I believe that that you viewers out there listening to Jason and Dylan, myself, talking about these amateur programs is something that's very much needed for the simple reason that I know that we're doing okay in the amateur level, but there's always room for improvement. And we're going to come up with new ideas in the very near future to improve the sport of boxing, amateur and professional level. And we're trying to get the viewers out there to create a bigger fan base for boxing. I know we have a UFC is doing great with the brand, and so MMA is a great sport. We have a young generation that's following up with the UFC or with the MMA, but boxing has always been around for hundreds of years. Yeah. And we want to make sure we keep it there because like this coming weekend, we have a big fight here in Las Vegas. We have Keith Thurman, who's undefeated, welterweight champion, fighting Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is a fighter that's been around for the last 20 years. I mean, he's unbelievable, 2 decades, and he's presently a world WBA world welterweight champion. So he holds one of the titles, and Keith Thurman holds one, and Sean Porter holds another. There's different sanctioning bodies out there. Sometimes I even forget how many world champions we got out there. There's so many sanctioning bodies. But it's a good opportunity for everybody to get involved. The more sanctioning bodies, the more champions you have, and the more fighters' dreams come true. Back in the old days, there was only 8 divisions. That was flyweight, bantamweight, featherweight, lightweight, welterweight, middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight. That was it. You can't
even name them all now.
That was it. Now they got mini flyweight, they got super flyweight.
4 belts per weight class.
And that's only 4 of the major ones.
Wait, yeah.
There's about 10 other sanctioning bodies that are not on a worldwide level, but they are just amazing. But I'm glad to see that boxing is still very much alive.
I'd like to say something on that. You know, starting in MMA about 15 years ago, everybody, boxing's over, boxing's out, this and that, and MMA kind of took over. But now what I'm seeing at these amateur events, being a coach and a boxer and an official, what I'm seeing is a lot of these mixed martial arts gyms locally here in town are getting their pass books, following the USA boxing rules, and they are not only are they competing in MMA, but they're kind of coming back and competing in our amateur boxing events too.
Exactly, and that's good because I've told MMA fighters, I said, you know, the more you use boxing techniques, the better it's going to be for you in MMA because it's good to you can throw punches and don't throw them wild where you see you're telegraphing a punch, but when you can learn how to throw punches, you know, straight from here, just, you know, good bobbing and weaving. Don't be a stationary target. They're learning all that from boxing. That's why they call it the sweet science.
Of course.
And they'll get better, and they'll compete at a better level with the MMA sport.
Yeah, you know, hit, but not get hit. And, you know, it probably started happening over 10 years ago with a guy like B.J. Penn, who was a jiu-jitsu guy, the prodigy, and then he started really taking on boxing. And he was, at that time, in his prime, was one of the better boxers in the UFC. And he kind of got everybody to kind of come back and start focusing on boxing training again versus Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling and all that.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, it's good to talk about boxing at a different level. Now we're talking with Jason Vincent, who's a USA amateur official. And now, you know, I'm very proud to see that you're a referee. You referee fights. You know, I remember when I started out as an amateur as a referee back in New York with the Police Athletic League, and then I got involved with the Golden Gloves. And I remember one night in New York City, in Brooklyn, New York, there was a big snowstorm, and they had 29 novice fighters fighting, and no referee showed up. And I was the only referee.
Except you, right?
So I got stuck doing 29 amateur fights
You
that
got some
night.
work in that night, yeah.
Well, you know what? They were one-round knockout. They were novices. They were beginners, so they were 1 round, 2 rounds.
He's being humble. 29 bouts is 29 bouts. That's a workout.
But that was the beginning of my amateur career. And shortly thereafter, I mean, after the Golden Gloves last year, but the New York State Athletic Commission reached out to me and they said, Joe, we want to talk with you. I don't know what they want to talk about, but they said, Joe, we want to turn you pro. I said, I've only been doing this for 6 months. They said, Joe, you got natural talents, and I get to help a lot me being an ex-fighter.
Of course, that helps.
Because I was a boxer, a good mover. I had good ring mechanics.
Good footwork.
So that helped me become a referee. But when I was refereeing the amateurs, you guys used to watch me. They said, Joe, you're all over that ring. We don't referee like that in the amateurs. In the amateurs, you got to be more relaxed and more calm. Well, you know what? I'm Arthur McCanny, the dean of all referees, as far as I'm concerned, Arthur McCanny Sr. And he used to tell me, Joe, you're moving too fast in that ring. You got to slow down. Even in the pros, he said, you got to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
So I learned a little bit from Arthur McCanny,
That's how you do it.
Tony Perez. There were so many referees. Zach Clayton was one of my mentors. Larry Hazard and he was a great referee. He refereed for about 7 years in the pros, but you could have sworn he'd been refereeing for 100 years. He had good ring mechanics, so we used to work out, share ideas with each other as far as refereeing was concerned. And we learned from one another, and we try to critique one another when it came to refereeing. If we made a mistake, or what could we do to revolutionize refereeing, which Larry Hazard and I did. We try to get ring mechanic positioning of the judges, the signals, the headbutt, the low blows, a lot of signals that they use currently in the amateurs. But in the pros, a lot of referees were not using these signals, and we felt we had to raise the bar as far as techniques is concerned with positioning and what do you do when you stop a fight, when the fighter gets excessive, getting hit with unnecessary punches. When does the referee stop it?
When you give an 8 count.
Well, you give an 8 count when the guy gets dropped. In the amateurs, it's a little different. In the amateurs, the guy gets hit with a good punch. You give him a standing 8 count there. We don't use standing 8 counts in the pros. In the pros, the only time you get a mandatory 8 count if you get knocked down, and you have to get up. If you don't get up by the count of 8, and you go to 10, then you're over. It's a KO. But we give a mandatory 8 count. Now there's no 3 knockdown rules. Back in the old days, we used to have 3 knockdowns. You get knocked down 3 times in the same round, the fight is automatically over. Now it's up to the discretion of the referee.
Yes.
And I see you listening there. You're watching.
Oh, intently.
She's ready. She's ready to blow up. Right?
Well, I was actually going to ask Jason, what is going to be your role at your Masters event this coming weekend?
Well, I'm kind of help co-promoting with Coach Manny Fernandez, who's new to Las Vegas. So I this kind of all started about 2 years ago, but really started developing in the last 6 months. And my role was more to introduce them to the local club owners and coaches and the chief of officials and the deputy chief of officials and just kind of get them going, get the ball rolling. But as far as this weekend at the Las Vegas Masters Invitational, this Saturday and Sunday, the 20th and 21st of July at the YMCA on Cheyenne and Durango, I will be a USA Boxing official that day. Hopefully I can get a little bit of work in as far as timekeeping and judging, and maybe they'll allow me to get in the ring and ref a bout or two. Hopefully my mom and dad want to come watch me. You met my mother-in-law, Sonia. They haven't seen me yet.
Oh, she was good. She used to work at Caesars herself.
She did, yeah. So what my mom did too. My mom was a cocktail waitress in the late 70s, early 80s. And then my dad worked in the engineering and carpenter shop. So I would go to the Jerry Lewis telethons and the Caesars Grand Prix, and he would take me to the fights and go see Earth, Wind, and Fire and sit in the engineering booth in the Circus Maximus. And get this, though, the funniest thing, and we'll get back on topic, the funniest thing is, though, is I was 7, probably 6, 7, 8 years old, I can't remember. And back in the day at Caesars Palace, they would have an adult Christmas party and a kids' Christmas party.
Oh, nice.
So when they had the kids' Christmas party, whoever was in the showroom, Paul Anka, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, would come down, and while you're eating and stuff like that, they would sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer to you and all that. And as a kid, you don't know who these guys are. You're like, get this old guy off the stage and give me my gift and my, my candy and my cake
and
or
we're
whatever.
Santa.
Yeah, we're Santa. But you got Frank Sinatra and Paul Anka singing to you up on stage. So, but back to this. I'm just going to enjoy this weekend with all the Masters. We got everybody flying in from all over the country, and I believe we might have some people coming from Canada and Mexico and stuff too, but it's going to be a great weekend of amateur boxing. Please come support us. We definitely can use your support. Local amateur boxing here in town this week and this Saturday and Sunday at the YMCA, the 20th and 21st in Cheyenne and Durango over there. And we'd love to have you guys down and enjoy some amateur boxing. And we're just very excited.
Okay, the hours again is?
The doors are opening up at 12 o'clock and the bouts start at 1.
At 1.
And now we've already kind of talked, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but we kind of already talked about having an end-of-the-year Masters tournament. I won't get too far ahead of my skis here, but it could be a Halloween weekend, you know, or past Thanksgiving, where we have some winners from the other master tournaments, the winners and the semifinalists, come and meet in Vegas to box it off for who's really the champion at that weight class.
I think that'd be a fantastic idea. In other words, you have like a national champion.
Masters does not have regional and national shows, even though this is a local show. It's considered a local show, even though we have people flying from all over the country. But it's not like the little guys or the elite boxers where you have Olympic qualifiers or Junior Olympics or regional Golden Gloves or national Golden Gloves and stuff like that. Masters doesn't have that. We don't have a ranking system.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you have a system for medicals? They have to bring a medical physical that they have approved for them, okay, to box? Because you want people boxing and have a heart attack in the middle of the ring. Have a 70-year-old get hit with a punch.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to do CPR.
See, I do. Luckily,
CPR as a referee.
I do CPR and the compressions and knock them out. But, yeah, you know, as a master boxer, the rules are very similar to the amateur, the younger people, but there's a little bit different. Obviously, you have to be 35 years and older. Once you hit the age of 45 like me, you do have to get, obviously you have to get a physical. Everybody has to get a physical, whether you're 5 years old or 7 years old. But after the age of 45 or 45 and over, you have to get an EKG. Okay. You know, that's required to be in your passbook. So not only do you have to have a physical, you have to have your EKG paperwork. And then the equipment's a little bit different. Instead of using 10-ounce gloves or using 12-ounce gloves, the Masters are using 16-ounce gloves. Mm-hmm. And then the headgear's a little bit different. You have to have Master certified headgear. Title has very nice Master certified headgear. Yes. Douglas wore that title, but it'll say Master headgear on it, and I believe it's 16 ounces. So it's a little bit thicker. You can see some of these guys here, and it's a little bit thicker headgear there.
Yeah. So now, I mean, Title has been one of the sponsors for the program, which we're very proud to see that Title stepped up to the plate. They're one of the few sporting goods companies in the country that are supporters of boxing, and I see they've been helping out also with the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. You know, they sponsor a lot of the heavy bags, speed bags, gloves. They do a lot for the kids, and that's what we need more out there. People to step up to the plate and donate whatever you have that's needed that can be used for the amateur programs.
Yes, I can't say enough about Title. I'm getting to know Douglas Ward and the guys there, but you know, a lot of the stuff that they donate and do behind the scenes goes unseen. Mm-hmm. You know, him and Manny Fernandez have a great relationship. We didn't bring the belt in, but we gave you guys one of the belts that Douglas Ward had specially made. Guys from Title. I know he's big at Fernando Vargas's gym. He sponsors a lot of boxers here in town. We did have the Title tournament at the YMCA last December, and then I believe we had another one in April here, and Douglas Ward was there. You know, it was the first time I got to meet him. So they do a lot of stuff. They donate a lot of equipment, even for the Nevada Hall of Fame, the Boxing Hall of Fame. I went down there and I saw the stuff that they had there. So hats off to you guys at Title. We appreciate you. We're very grateful, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Yeah, we need more people around like Title. Douglas Ward is really a first-class guy who's coming up, stepped up to the plate. He's always giving, and I mean, what else can we say about him? I mean, this is something that's needed. And other hotels use hotels out there. You have so many programs. I know you have grants and whatnot you give out to the community. Don't forget about the amateur boxing program, the USA Amateur Program in Las Vegas. Now, who's in charge of the Nevada State when it comes to USA boxing?
Our president right now, I believe we're going to have some elections at the end of the year or beginning of next year, I believe. But as of right now, we have our president of our LBC, our local boxing committee. I like to call it our Las Vegas boxing community for LBC, but is Rose Fain. She's up in Reno, Nevada there, where we just had the Western qualifiers. We had a national qualifying tournament here in the state of Nevada, up in Reno, but we definitely want to get it down here in Las Vegas, the fight capital.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
So she's our president, and then we have Craig Mitchie as our secretary, and Mallory is our treasury and our chief of officials there.
Mallory is she's one of the inspectors for the Nevada State Athletic Commission.
She is, yeah. Her mom, Addie, I call her Addie. Adelina is a professional judge, and her father, Mr. Bird, is a referee.
Robert Bird, yes. Yeah. And now talking about the females in boxing, I know you wanted to have more questions about females. We had a segment last week talking about females in boxing. We had Chrissy Martin, we had Laura Serrano, and we had Layla Ali and Layla McCarter on the show. So they were great talking about the program, and
we were
talking about on their behalf, right? I would have loved to have gotten one of them live on the show. But females in boxing is a program that we like to really follow. Now, you guys have females competing also at the senior level?
We do have females competing here at the tournament this weekend, and this is a big tournament for masters boxing. Most states, you're lucky if they have a card or an event with 20 or 25 bouts. You're lucky if you get 1 or 2 master bouts. Ramon Montano with Fights of Fury here in town was kind of an innovator of flying masters in and have masters having an opportunity to compete at a show at the Westgate Hotel. So very proud of you, Coach Ramon. But one thing I wanted to add on that too, and they do it in jiu-jitsu, they call it girls and gis. I would like to get another program, I'm talking about programs real quick because I know we're running out of time, of some of these pro female amateur boxers and some of the high level or professional boxers and some of the higher level amateur female boxers once, twice, 3 times a year going to different gyms and kind of having a boxing girl training day.
Oh,
and they
that's a great idea.
And it's from the 5 or 6 or 7-year-old girls like Mia all the way up to professionals. And it's a huge influence on these young people having these women, that are at a high amateur level or a high professional level coming in and talking to them and training them and just spending some of their time with them.
Right. Again, being that role model.
Being that role model. Real quick, Diego Magdalena is going up, I believe, this week into Utah. The professional boxer here locally, and getting with some kids there, talking about bullying and boxing and training and everyday lives and all that. So he's another guy that's out there behind the scenes doing some training and some mentorship with kids. So I'd like to give credit where credit's due, and I'm very proud of these professionals for doing that.
Well, I was going to say I think he's working with Shannon Gilman. Is it Gilman?
Gilman
yes,
Torres.
In regards to Taurus, yes, in regards to that, in Utah, yes.
Yeah, I think that more individuals out there on the professional level or even amateur level should really get out to the community, reach out to these young kids that they need a little bit of mentorship and get them on the right track. I mean, with boxing, like Jason mentioned earlier on the show, it brings your confidence level up, your self-esteem, and the discipline that goes along with boxing. And that's why it's so important that these youngsters get involved at a younger, tender age so that when they develop to be teenagers, and it helps them also prevent them from being bullied in school. But once they know you know how to handle yourself, they're not going to pick on you as easy as if you don't know how to defend yourself. And even for your seniors out there, you may be walking around, these young punks out there think that you're easy taking, easy picking, and you hear him the old 1-2. And sometimes I wish one of these young punks come up to me and try to push me around, and I'll be surprised. You'll see.
You mess with the wrong senior here.
You hear about that so often that this guy, 80 years old, knocked out some kid, tried to hold him up while he was getting into his car. But you know what? He surprised the hell out. The guy was an amateur or professional fighter at one time, and that's why he was easy picking. And that's what we did. We say, you know what? Mess with me, you're going to go in 3.
Yeah, those reflexes, that 1-2 still there, man.
What the hell happened? Where did that come from? But that's what we do. That's why I love boxing.
That's a different type of mentorship right there.
But we just mentor the seniors on that. But you seniors out there, sometimes you got to learn how to defend yourself as well, because sometimes you'll be for a big surprise and You got to be ready, like they say, in the real world. But keep your guards up at all times, protect yourselves at all times, and remember, I'm fair but I'm firm. We're my champion here today, Jason Vincent.
Thanks for
Vegas
having me on, guys.
Vincent.
Vegas Vincent.
Vegas Vincent, baby. Thank
Take
you.
care. We'll see you next week.